Before history was written, before memory could exist, the Earth stood vast, ancient, and indifferent. Around 4.6 million years ago, the African landscape stretched endlessly. Open savannas shaped by shifting winds and uncertain climates. Life here was governed by a simple truth. Survival was never guaranteed. Every creature moved within a fragile balance, where the ability to adapt meant the difference between continuation and disappearance. And within this world of quiet struggle, a new path in evolution was beginning to take form. Among the tall grasses, movement appears, subtle, ostorojne. Early hominins emerge, navigating a landscape filled with uncertainty. They are not yet human, but they are no longer entirely bound by instinct. Their bodies allow brief moments of upright posture, offering a wider view of the horizon. This simple shift, standing to observe, marks one of the earliest changes in how life interacts with the environment. Survival begins to take on a new dimension. These early beings are not merely reacting, they are observing. The movement of animals, the cycles of light and shadow, the locations where food may be found. Patterns begin to form in the mind. Awareness, quiet, gradual yet transformative, has begun to emerge. In this environment, strength alone offers little advantage. Survival depends on knowledge, the ability to locate nourishment across a changing landscape. Fruits hidden among branches, roots buried beneath the soil. Foraging becomes both a necessity and a learned behavior. Memory develops, locations are remembered, paths are retraced, and with each repetition, efficiency improves. A stone lies on the ground, indistinguishable from many others. Yet when lifted, examined and turned in the hand, it becomes something more. This is not yet invention, but it is interaction. Early hominins begin to use objects from their environment in ways that extend their natural abilities. Even the simplest tool represents a shift from passive survival to active adaptation. The environment does not remain constant. Seasons shift, rainfall fluctuates, vegetation expands and retreats. These changes demand flexibility. Some species fail to adjust and gradually disappear. Others endure, not through strength alone, but through their capacity to adapt. Survival in isolation is uncertain, but within small groups, the chances improve. Early hominins begin to remain in proximity to one another, not as a structured society, but as a shared presence. Through observation and proximity, behaviors begin to align. Cooperation, in its earliest form, begins to emerge. There are no spoken words, no formal teaching, and yet learning takes place. The young observe the experienced, watching movements, imitating actions. Knowledge is not explained, it is demonstrated. Over time, repeated behaviors become shared understanding. Movement is no longer random. Decisions begin to shape behavior. When to travel, where to search, when to remain still. Energy is conserved, risks are reduced. These early forms of strategy reflect a growing complexity in thought. Survival is becoming more than instinct. It is becoming deliberate. A subtle transformation is underway. The mind begins to anticipate outcomes, to consider possibilities before action. This shift marks one of the most significant developments in evolution. Intelligence, not sudden but gradual, begins to take shape, and with it, new pathways for survival emerge. Over time, the world continues to evolve. Forests thin, open lands expand. Environments become more diverse. Each change introduces new challenges and new opportunities. Adaptation remains constant, the defining requirement of survival. Not all individuals endure the demands of this environment. Conditions are harsh, resources limited, yet those who survive carry forward traits that improve resilience. Over generations, these traits accumulate, shaping the direction of evolution itself. Life continues in cycles, day after day, generation after generation. Changes are small, almost imperceptible. Yet over time, these small differences begin to define entire species. Evolution is not a single moment, but a continuous process. Intelligence, memory, cooperation. These traits are no longer isolated. They begin to connect, forming the earliest foundation of what will become humanity. The transformation is gradual, but its direction is clear. From these quiet beginnings, something extraordinary will eventually emerge, not immediately, not rapidly, but through countless generations of adaptation and change. The story of humanity does not begin with certainty. It begins with survival, and from that, everything else will follow.